Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hidden Korea, where secrets become stories and stories become legends. Tonight, we bring you a revelation that's shaking the entire entertainment world. Shock wedding, Soo-jung ties the knot with Korea's unknown leading man. After years of silence and mystery, the beloved actress has finally made a move no one saw coming. A marriage announcement that's taken both fans and media by storm. Who is the man who captured her heart? And why has his identity left the whole nation in disbelief? Stay with us, because the truth behind this wedding is far more astonishing than anyone imagined. Let's begin, right now. For years, she was the woman of mystery, the timeless beauty who seemed untouched by the chaos of fame. Soo-jung, the actress who defined elegance for 2 decades, had mastered the art of silence in an industry that feeds on noise. But on one cool autumn morning in Seoul, that silence shattered. The news broke like a thunderclap. Soo-jung announces marriage at 46. The public gasped, then froze at the second half of the headline. The groom is a top Korean star whose identity shocks everyone. At first, no one believed it. How could the nation's most private actress, who had spent her entire career avoiding scandal, suddenly reveal something this explosive? Yet within hours, a single photograph surfaced, a grainy shot of Soo-jung stepping into a quiet garden chapel, veil in hand. Her expression unreadable. The photo went viral in minutes. And that was only the beginning. According to sources close to the actress, the wedding had been planned in absolute secrecy. No agencies knew. No press invites. No guest list leaks. Just a handful of close friends sworn to silence. Even her stylist claimed she hadn't seen Soo-jung for weeks, saying only, "She disappeared. Now I know why." But who is the groom? The tabloids speculated endlessly. Some whispered it was a foreign director she'd met while filming overseas. Others claimed it was an art curator from Paris. Yet one clue changed everything, a name hidden within the wedding registry. Blurred out but partially legible, a surname that fans recognize instantly. A leading man. A man she'd once shared the screen with, years ago. In a romantic drama that blurred the line between fiction and reality. Dispatch reporters swarmed the district. Locals described seeing a tall man in a dark suit arriving at dawn. Entering the chapel through a side door. He carried no entourage. No flowers, just a ring box and a look that could melt steel. By the time photographers reached the gate, the ceremony was over. The couple had vanished, leaving behind only whispers and the lingering scent of roses. Within hours, social media erupted. Is this real? She's been single for decades. He's a superstar. How did no one notice? This can't be love. This feels forbidden. Rumors turned into obsession. Old interview. Every behind-the-scenes clip was dissected. Fans replayed scenes from their drama, searching for hidden signals, a glance too long, a touch too tender. While agencies scrambled for answers, both camps refused to comment. One executive simply said, "We were as shocked as you are." But beneath the chaos, a darker truth brewed. An anonymous insider leaked a cryptic message. This wedding isn't new. It's old, older than you think. The revelation sent chills across the industry. Could it be that Soo-jung had been secretly married for years? Or worse, that the ceremony everyone was talking about wasn't a beginning, but an ending? That night, under the pale glow of the Han River, a single black car stopped beneath a bridge. Inside sat 2 figures, faces hidden. One wore a wedding ring that glimmered faintly under the city lights. A voice broke the silence. "They found out." The other replied, barely a whisper. "Then we run." By the time dawn touched Seoul, the city was already trembling. TV screens flashed with the same image, Soo-jung in white, trailing like smoke, vanishing through chapel doors. Reporters swarmed the district. Yet no one could name the groom. Then a photograph surfaced, blurred but devastating. A silhouette beside her in the pews, head bowed, fingers laced with hers. That single outline sent the internet into chaos. The nation's favorite mystery had found its spark. At noon, a post appeared on an anonymous forum titled "You Know the Groom." Inside was a single line. "He's not new. He's been beside her all along." Within an hour, users traced every project she'd ever done. They compared co-stars, directors, assistants, anyone who could fit the silhouette. And then, one frame stopped them cold. From an old film, one that never made it to theaters after its production was abruptly canceled. Standing beside her in that frame was a man whose name once dominated headlines before vanishing without explanation. A leading man. A scandal's ghost. Batch reporters raced to confirm it. The studio that produced the shelved film refused comment. But a staff member slipped a note beneath the door at midnight. They met there. The movie ended. The story didn't. As the media frenzy grew, a marked envelope arrived at the Dispatch newsroom. Inside, a wedding invitation printed on ivory paper. The ink barely dry. No sender, no address. Just two names written in delicate calligraphy. I'm Soo-jung and K. Han-suk. Nation froze. Han-suk, once one of Korea's brightest rising actors, had disappeared from the industry 5 years ago after a tragic on-set accident that killed a crew member and ended his career overnight. No one had heard from him since. Rumor claimed he'd left the country, others said he'd been quietly blacklisted. Here he was again, not in prison, not in exile, but at the altar. The revelation ripped through every broadcast. Is this forgiveness? Redemption? Or a secret long hidden from the public eye? By midnight, the couple released a short video, shaky, unpolished, and achingly honest. I'm Soo-jung appeared first. Her eyes swollen from tears. Never meant to deceive anyone. We just wanted peace. Then came his voice, low, steady. I spent years running from my shadow. Found me and taught me how to live again. We married not to shock you, but to survive. The clip ended there, leaving silence in its wake. For days, Korea divided itself in two. Condemned the secrecy. Others praised the courage. But the truth that emerged was stranger still. I'm Soo-jung had been funding Han-suk's quiet rehabilitation project, helping him rebuild the lives destroyed by that accident. The marriage wasn't a scandal, it was an act of loyalty born from guilt and love intertwined. When reporters finally found the remote villa where the couple had hidden, they refused interviews. A single note was pinned to the gate. Not escaping. We are beginning again. That night, under the silver wash of the moon, the same photographer who had captured their secret wedding returned to the chapel. Inside, the candles still burned. On the altar lay the bouquet she had carried, white lilies, slightly wilted but still fragrant. A testimony that even the most shocking stories can end softly. The world had expected a scandal. Found instead was something rarer, truth, forgiveness, and the kind of love that survives ruin. In the hush that followed, the city finally understood, sometimes the biggest shock isn't the secret itself, but the humanity behind it. The headlines had begun to fade. But the echoes would not die. Weeks passed. And still the world whispered the same two names, I'm Soo-jung and Han-suk, like a confession carried on the wind. The scandal that once set Seoul on fire had turned into something softer, sadder, almost sacred. After the video, they vanished again. No sightings, no statements. The media camped outside agencies, villas, airports. Yet found only silence. One dusk in late spring, a passerby spotted two figures walking along the Han River. No bodyguards. No disguises, just two silhouettes framed against a burning orange sky. One held a paper cup of coffee, the other laughed. Tilted toward the wind. The picture, blurry, accidental, spread like wildfire. But this time, nobody dissected it. The world simply looked, sighed, and said, let them be. Behind that peace, however, lingered an unspoken storm. Documents leaked from the defunct studio revealed the depth of Han-suk's fall, contracts forged, insurance unpaid, guilt buried beneath corporate lies. It hadn't been his negligence that caused the tragedy all those years ago, it had been greed. The industry had chosen a scapegoat. He had taken the blame in silence to protect the crew he loved. I'm Soo-jung had discovered the truth while filming abroad. She could have exposed it then, but she waited. Waited until she could stand beside him. Not as a savior, but as a witness. Their secret wedding was less a rebellion and more a reclamation, a promise. Whispered against the noise of the world that had once silenced them both. The evidence resurfaced. Public anger turned not toward the couple but toward the system that had destroyed them. The investigation reopened. Executives resigned. And for the first time in years, Han-suk's name appeared not in rumor threads, but in court documents that read, cleared of wrongdoing. The day the verdict was announced, I'm Soo-jung attended quietly, dressed in simple beige, no makeup, no jewelry. When the judge read the decision, she reached for his hand. Cameras flashed. But she didn't flinch. Outside the courthouse, others shouted questions. She gave only one answer. Love isn't always about secrecy. Sometimes it's about endurance. Those words became the headline that closed the story. Months later, they reappeared once more, on stage. Not in a drama, not in a film. At a charity gala for forgotten artists. Together they read a letter written by the family of the crew member who had died in that long ago accident. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's choosing peace over pain. Thank you for remembering him with kindness. The audience rose in silence. No applause. Cheers, just quiet tears. That night, under a soft drizzle, Soo-jung wrote in her private diary. The world wanted a scandal. We gave them truth instead. And for once, the truth was enough. The rain fell gently over Seoul, cleansing the streets that had once carried their shadows. Somewhere in the distance, the faint chime of wedding bells echoed, not from the chapel of secrecy, but from the heart of a city that had finally learned to forgive. The story was over. Yet the echo of it would remain, like a heartbeat beneath the noise. Reminding everyone that behind every shock, every headline, every hidden moment, there is always something profoundly human waiting to be seen. The storm has passed. Ashes have faded. And somewhere beyond the noise, two people walk quietly under the Seoul night sky. No cameras, no masks, no fear. Soo-jung and Han-suk's story began like a secret, exploded like a scandal, and ended as something far greater, a reminder that truth, no matter how painful, will always outshine the rumor that hides it. For years, the world saw them as symbols, perfection, mystery, silence. But behind the curtains of fame were hearts still learning how to heal. Their story was never about glamour, it was about survival. About two souls daring to love each other in a world that profits from their pain. The chapel lights that once flickered over whispered vows now stand empty. But their glow remains, soft, eternal. Like a promise kept in the dark. The truth didn't destroy them, it redeemed them. Now, every time the rain falls over Seoul, people remember. Not the headlines. Not the shock, but the courage it took to stand still in the storm. 'Cause real love isn't loud, it endures in silence until the world is ready to listen. And as the city hums again with life, story drifts into legend, a tale not of scandal, but of grace. Closing message, from Hidden Korea. Dear viewers, thank you for walking with us through another unforgettable story, one woven from silence, truth, the fragile strength of the human heart. At Hidden Korea, we don't just tell stories, we uncover the heartbeat behind them. What you've heard tonight isn't about fame or fortune, it's about resilience. About how light finds its way even through the darkest corners of secrecy. If this story touched you, let it remind you of something simple yet powerful. Behind every rumor is a reason. Behind every silence is a choice. And behind every face you see on screen is a soul, tired, imperfect, and deeply human. As we close tonight's chapter, may we learn to listen more softly, to judge less harshly. Remember that sometimes, the truest form of love is the courage to begin again. So to everyone watching, wherever you are, thank you for feeling, for believing, and for walking through this storm with us. Until the next secret unfolds, stay curious, stay kind. And remember, even in the quietest corners of Korea, there is always a story waiting to be heard. This is Hidden Korea. Thank you, and good night.